Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Empowered Conversations. I took Thanksgiving week off, and then my guest that I had last week was ill, so we've rescheduled her for the 1st of January. But I'm so frickin' excited to be back doing Empowered Conversations this week. So excited about my guest. And guys, if you're new to joining, let me tell you, Empowered Conversations is where I have amazing conversations with extraordinary people who are out doing beautiful things in the world in service to others and just all around living their best lives. And that is none other than my guest today, Kelly Young-Silva. Kelly is the owner of Words in Motion Acting Studio, and she's been coaching actors to win for over 10 years. Words in Motion is an active Atlanta acting studio. She says that we teach our actors to fight, to change their scene partner by raising the stakes. We dare to win in everything we do. So many Words in Motion actors have landed juicy roles and have become active players in the film and television industry. We work to make our audience fall in love with us. Love that. Kelly has worked with productions in the community for over 20 years and has helped to build many programs that support the arts. That is fabulous. She is also the co-creator and producer of the Facebook show, The Kelly Talk Show, in which I was a guest back in 2019, and that was fabulous. On the Kelly Talk Show, Kelly showcases artists striving to live their truth. We believe the arts breathe life into the world, and we will continue to give all that we can. Everybody, drum roll, please help me in welcoming Kelly Young-Silva.
Hi.
What's up, girl?
Hello. It's funny. I just sit down and I've got somebody cutting grass out there. So can you hear it? It's like a low.
Hold on. I really don't, but it's hilarious because, especially with being on Zoom and StreamYard and these live platforms, like this is real life. This isn't like a studio like yourself where you've got like the soundproof walls. Like this is, yeah, there's the landscapers out there. There's, my kid running in the
My
background.
baby's crying upstairs.
Baby's crying. Oh, yeah.
No, he's not really.
Oh, yeah. What's your little boy's name?
He's Oliver.
Oh, God, oh my God, that's like one of the best names on the planet.
Let me tell you
So
something.
sweet.
So the only name that I could find for a boy that I liked was Oliver. Well, then come to find out, my brother has a dog named Oliver.
Oh my God. You know what? I had a
I was like,
girlfriend.
do not tell my husband. Do not
Oh
tell
my
him. He
God.
won't let me name my child.
I'm telling you, Oliver literally is one of my favorite names because I had a girlfriend who had a cat. She had 2 cats, and one of them was named Oliver. And just because of his name, he was like my favorite. He was like
Yes.
all big. He looked like Garfield. He was so freaking cute.
Yes.
But
Yes.
God,
Oliver looks like Garfield too. He's like a big chunky baby.
oh, I love it. Oh my God. That's like, is he really long furry or is he short fur?
No, I'm talking about my baby. He's
Oh,
chunky.
your baby. Okay. I thought you said I have a cat too named Oliver, but yeah,
No, I
okay.
don't have a cat named
Da,
Oliver.
da, 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 da. Okay. We're still on the yeah. Oh my God, y'all. Yeah. All right. My brain's already farting. It's what, been 2-3 weeks since it's like fart. Yeah. He's precious. I love
Thank
your
you.
pictures. He's the
Thank you.
black hair. He's just so sweet. Look, chubby cheeks. He's just so cute.
Yeah, he's fun. Yeah, and then I'm in
Yeah.
the interesting thing is that I'm in my 40s, so I have kids in their 20s, and then I'm starting over again with and everybody's asked me like, what is it like? It's completely the same. Completely the same.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
You love your baby, and it's a lot of work, and they just fit into what they're supposed to fit into. You're like, before that, you're like, how will I fit this into my life? And I've
Right.
gotten so involved in my career, and no, it just fits. It just flows. So if you're a person that you're pregnant and you're worried about, how is this going to fit in? And when that baby gets here, it just fits. Everything adjusts. It's like the universe adjusts
Thank
space
you.
for that
Thank
person.
you. Thank you. But you also have the mindset that's geared toward that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, anything can happen in our lives, and we can choose to allow it to derail us,
Right.
or we can choose to incorporate it into the grand plan.
Right. Yeah.
And that takes you have that mindset. I mean, just that, number one, why you're here on Empowered Conversations today. So, I just want to get what I do is I get really deep with my guests with
Let's
my
do it.
very first question.
Okay.
We already have a comment from a Facebook user, which means they're in my Facebook group, D
Okay.
for Rick and Licious and You, which is a private group, and I cannot see your name if you're commenting from watching the private group. But they say, "Good morning to you both. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Drop your name." So, Kelly, again, I know I had mentioned this before, but what I do in the very beginning, my very first question, it's all about getting to the depth of the heart and the soul of the person I'm speaking with. And my question is, based like what you're doing now in the world and for other people, in service to others. What all in your life, like what situations, what stories, what epiphanies, what revelations or experiences, in your life or throughout your life or something that was just like boom, that brought you to what you do through your acting studio and through as well your Kelly talk show. What tell us all
You
about
want to you really want to get down into it?
Hail to the yeah.
Let's
I'll just be frank.
see. Let's see if I bring tears to you, Stephanie.
I've
Um,
cold chills and
so,
tears.
I'm an actor. I've been acting for a long time, but more of a community actor at this point in my life. And it just never. I had kids young, so the dream of actually moving to LA and doing something incredible like becoming a working actor wasn't really. I didn't think that was a part of what I would end up doing. And hello, totally doing it right and teaching
Yeah.
people to do it. Um,
Yeah.
so in 2003, my brother was captured in Iraq. Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
telling you, it'll already bring tears. Apache helicopter pilot. It made national news. If anybody remembers, his name is Ron Young Jr. You can look it up on Google. Um, and so he was captured for 23 days. It was the very beginning of the war. It was his first mission going out. And so, our family went on a whirlwind for 23 days. We had press in our yards 24/7. They basically made a reality show out of us. My mother, welcomed them into the house because we felt like, for one, that we wanted to. If he died, we didn't want him to die in vain, and we wanted him to be known. We wanted people to know a military family. See, I'll get emotional.
right.
And so we just opened our hearts up to the world. And I tell you what, the world opened their hearts to us. We received mail that was like, just buckets and buckets of mail a day. So, when you're going through a traumatic experience, and this
Mhm.
has been 17 years ago, and you see it's
Yeah.
still emotional.
Fresh. Yeah.
So when you're going through a traumatic experience, you recap on your whole life. And for one, I saw the world as just this beautiful human
Right. Thank you.
vessel that people would stop and write. And during the first week, you're just in shock. You're just like, I don't know what to do. You're just fighting. You're in denial. You're like,
Yeah.
no, God's going to save him. We're going to be whatever. And then we had the first deaths in Georgia. Jamal Addison and um, I can't remember the other. Rinkins was the last name of the other guy. And my brother was missing. At this time, he was a POW. Like they had found, they had put it all over the
Mhm.
news. They had paraded him everywhere, and but you're moving into like those third weeks, and your family has to decide things. Like I remember my mother, we're grown adults, my mother's sitting us down and saying, we've got to go on with our lives. We can't keep doing this. We've got to move on. We've got to accept that, the worst of the worst may have happened, and we've got to go to work. We got to do things. And so during that time, one of the places that we ended up was in Atlanta at this prayer visual thing. I don't know. People were doing all kinds of things. I mean, there were yellow ribbons like everywhere, for them. So the guy on the stage, he was like, if there's a dream that you want, he said, pray it now. And I was like, in my head, I was like, why not? What do we have to
Bring
lose?
my brother. Yeah.
Say it loud. And then I did. And I said, life is short. And that reminds you that life is short,
Mm-hmm.
And at this time we didn't know if he would come home. Right. So I'm thinking, what were my brother's dreams, and what did he miss out on? What have we missed out on? And what have I not done because of my fears? And what did I need to accomplish these things? And so, needless to say, he came home. I mean, my family dynamics changed from that. It's a whole list of PTSD that we still kind of suffer. I think you think that somebody's rescued and your life just goes back to normal, and it really doesn't. My mother has always suffered it. We suffer to death without the person dying. But he was changed, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I got the chance to open an acting studio, and that was it. I was like, the industry had just landed in Atlanta. We were all kind of doing background work. We were excited, all of us that were in the acting community. And at the time I had young kids, and I was like, well, to be an actor, that would be kind of hard because, with my kids and my kids being so young. And I was like, but I could really open up an acting studio. And I thought about, what did I need to have achieved my dreams earlier? And so the one thing that I base my life on is belief.
Love it.
So when somebody I coach adults now. We've landed big roles and big things by now. But my first thing is, when you walk into my studio, I don't judge you. I know that you have the ability, just like I have the ability, to live my dreams, and my job is to believe in you. So I always say, I'll believe in you until you believe in yourself. And
I love that.
That belief is, it just manifests itself in all sorts of ways. I mean, I have stories. I've obviously got success stories, but I have stories of working with people. Like I had this young girl who was a selective mute, and she wouldn't talk. Her brother had been in training with me for about 2 years. And the mother said, Emma wants to act. And I was kind of like, okay, you have to be able to talk. So selective mute means she just didn't talk. She would go a month without talking to her family. She just didn't. But what I've found is, like, people who actually listen, they make better actors because they listen to everything that's going on around them. So I told the mom, I mean, I don't try to shoot anybody down. I tell people what we are, what we do, and where we're at in our journey. Right now, we're completely geared towards professional actors, so this doesn't fit so much anymore. But her mother said, so I told her mother, I said, well, she's welcome to come in. I said, I will not pressure her. I will not push her, but I will invite her to join every single week. And I said, let's see how long it takes. And it was probably about 3 months into, I said, like I did every class, Emma, do you want to join us? And she said, yes. I never told the class that she didn't talk. I mean, I never pointed her out and pointed out anything wrong with it. By the end of the year, she was performing on stages and was one of our lead actors. So, those success stories, just the way that the arts, a lot of people see like actors as being, diva-ish and has kind of a bad persona around it. And I just wanted to lift that. I wanted to say, no, that's not who we are. We open our hearts to stories, to tell stories. We open our hearts to humanity, to to tell things, to affect people in their lives, to tell, stories like Fences and even Forrest Gump, how how that
Yeah.
story like affects.
Yeah.
That's really more than anything, I think what an actor wants is to be able to affect the world and make the world think. And that's what the arts are. They help you to think. So I try to, Oprah is one of my mentors that I love. One day
Yes.
maybe I'll get to meet her. I have had kids who have been on her shows,
Oh,
but long ago when we were all watching Oprah on our TVs, she said, "Everything I do, I ask myself, does it fit in my purpose? I have a purpose, and does it fit in my purpose? And if it doesn't
freaking love it.
fit in my purpose, then I let it go." And I try to, live like that too. My purpose is to I don't think it's to empower the world like yours is, um, but mine is to change the world through the arts. It is that the arts are so important to life and to who we are, and to showcase artists who are doing that.
But that's empowering to
Yeah, it is. Yes.
people in and of itself.
Yes. Yes. You are very, very correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't y'all love her, her Kelly, the Kelly? Show us your coffee cup.
So yeah,
And
I have
yeah,
a talk show, and it kind of stemmed from all of this, from that one moment of sitting there and saying, "This is what I want to do." I said for about 2 years, I want to have a talk show, and I told all of my friends, like, one day I want to have a talk show. And when we first started, I didn't really know what to center it around. I really wanted to center it around, mental health issues and domestic violence and
ooh.
people who have lost children and things like that. And um, then it became about the arts, where I could still incorporate all those things. So it
I
would be
didn't know
fun to,
that, Kelly. I had no idea. I would
yeah.
love to see some of those earlier episodes. Do you have those on
Yeah,
your?
but I mean, we figured out pretty early that we wanted to move in to more, because I'm arts, I'm an acting studio. But yeah, like my friend Bryant Dill, he came on and talked about he had kidney failure, and he came on and talked about kidney failure, and now like literally just like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, he finally got a kidney, and that's over 5 years ago when he came on and talked about how he's dialysis and what kidney failure is. And um yeah, so it's still based on that. Like, it's just that you would have to have a book that you wrote about your experience, and then you come on, and then we can showcase your book. We can showcase, like, when you get your book, and you
Yes.
ended up on the show as an artist, as a cooking
Yes, as a
artist.
cooking show. I have a cooking show. Most people
Yeah,
know
so it's
Defa
fun.
Rickalicious, and
Yeah,
that's
so it's finding those people that still have really awesome stories, but they're also showcasing it in some sort of
right.
way.
Yeah, and like kind of in a way, I wouldn't say starting it, but yeah, you're right. Like they're putting themselves out there that this is what they want for the world, but there's a real passion behind that. And I wanted to say, Dempsey Gibson, what's up, Dempsey? That's
Dempsey!
that is how Kelly and I met because Dempsey was on your show. He is the person who's commenting for my Facebook group.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much. And
Dempsey always recommends such good guests.
yes, yeah, Dempsey is fabulous. He was on Defa Rickalicious. He was a guest
Uh-huh.
on my show a couple years ago, a Halloween episode. He was a vampire. I was Elvira. But yeah, this is how Kelly and I became connected several years ago was through Dempsey. Thank you, Dempsey, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I didn't even remember that came through
I know.
Dempsey.
And shuffled out of my mind until I was like, oh my God, that's right, Dempsey Gibson. Yeah, oh my God, he is doing some amazing freaking shit out in
Yes,
California.
he
Oh my
is. I
God,
like
I'm so
watching him
proud.
like crazy.
Like, I love it. I love it when people live like through their heart-centered passions like yourself. And it's like he's one of those people. It's like, I don't tell me that I ain't gonna make it. I mean, just putting yourselves out there, not listening to anybody other than your like the depth of like the why of what you want. And
Yeah.
he is one person who's out there doing
Yeah.
that.
That's what I say with the show. I say, you can keep saying you can't, and
All
I'll
right.
show you 100 people that can.
Absolutely.
The thing
Whether you
is
think
the
you
thing is like
can.
when we want to do something, we have a passion, we don't really know how to get that off the ground, and we're thinking too high, we're thinking too much. We just have to take the resources that we
Yeah.
have and
Right.
work in our resources, and then that'll grow,
And
and then
keep
that'll
moving in the
grow.
direction
And
that you want to be.
right, and 10 years later, you know, you'll have, but it's not, you know, there are no shortcuts, and there are no, I mean, this is work, and that's another thing that I wanted people to understand is that what we do is work. What you do is work. Coming on here
Yes.
doing this, it's work.
It's emotional.
Yes.
Because it's not just transactional. It's not just something, oh, that sounds good. I think I'll do that. I mean, empowered, I was sharing with you how empowered conversations has kind of evolved, but I still had a real passion for wanting to put my voice and to speak with other like-minded individuals, heart-centered, like-hearted individuals who had this purposeful passion way in which they were sharing their gifts and inspiring the world.
Yeah.
And so, DEFA Rick and Licious is one avenue in which I'm out here empowering people. Your acting studio, your talk show, just the way in which you're showing up every day.
Right.
You are a walking, talking billboard of your heart-centered passion.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Love
it's
it.
it's and it's rewarding. It's tough at times because
Yeah.
once you put yourself out there, and this is,
Uh-huh.
you know, for the audience to know, once you put yourself out there, you're always going to have judges. You're always going to have people that
Mhm.
say, you know, who does she think she is? What is she doing? What is,
Right.
you know, but you are brave because you
Yeah.
have, I don't care who you are, when you're putting yourself
Mhm.
out, especially for the first time, it's scary.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
And and that's what bravery is, right? It's
Yeah.
walking through the fire even though the fire is going to burn you. And
Right.
um, so yeah, I mean,
Well, I was nervous coming on your show,
yeah, that show
2
is
years.
nervous because it's on multi cameras and
Yeah.
it is scary.
But I had so much fun, and I remember afterwards, one of the camera guys were like, "Hey, I wanna learn how to cook," or something about, "I wanna learn how to cook healthy. I want something about something being delicious," or I
Uh-huh.
remember him saying a comment about something delicious and wanting to learn himself, or I mean, it just I felt, because, you're insecure, again, when you're new into doing things and sharing your heart and sharing that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, and then when you get the positive feedback, it's like, "Oh, okay, I did great then." Oh my god,
Well, when we first started putting that show up, it was funny. I mean, there were people who gave positive feedback, but there was also people who gave not good feedback. And I use a lot, always have. You know, it's a thinking word. Like I say
You
like um, so
yeah,
you know that's a bad thing in the speaking world, and
right.
whatever. But
Um,
but
um,
it's also a thinking word. It's not a bad word. So people would come on and they'd comment about that, and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I've got to control my ums, and I got to control this, and you know somebody's commenting about the way the background looks like, and I'm like, dude, it takes 2 hours to set up that show. We're doing it in my acting studio. It's not just set up all the time. We have to
right.
set the
I didn't know
whole thing
that.
up.
Oh,
Do what?
wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I love the beautiful blue. It's a beautiful blue, guys.
Yeah, it's done on a switcher. My husband
Mhm.
is the director of that. My husband, by the way, is a 5-time Emmy Award winner, and he is a director. And so, you know, the show looks amazing for
It
us.
really
We've never
does.
had sponsorships. We do that as a way to give back to our community. Because one thing I do believe, Stephanie, is I do believe that if you want something to happen, you have to be able to give back that. If I want the arts to grow, if I want Atlanta to grow, and to be an advocate for Atlanta, then I have to be able to give a certain percentage of my resources to that cause. And so we've never asked for anything from that. We just
Mhm.
showcase people, and we gain from that
Yes.
too. We gain from that without asking for
Abso-freaking-lutely.
anything. Yeah. I mean, most of our connections, my husband has a movie coming out in April. It'll come out on most of the platforms. I think it'll come out on Redbox. It's Redbox and Walmart. It's sold here in the U.S. and Canada, um, Europe, Canada, uh, England, South America, and Poland, and that's where it's at so far. But
What's
it's
what's
called
the name of it?
Hunting Souls. Hunting Souls.
Hunt? Oh, I love that.
It's a thriller. It's not like so scary that you can't sit and watch it. It's more like a thriller kind of scary feel. We did it in our house,
Right.
and it's yeah, it's an amazing adventure, and did it through COVID. And we were SAG, which means all our we actually went through the correct protocols to be able to put a movie together.
He
And
created and directed, right? I'm just making a comment.
yes, 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 yes. But I don't remember my whole point of that. But
I'm sorry. I hope
that's
I
who he
didn't.
is. It'll come back around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the point is, if you want to do something, you
Mhm.
have to be willing to put into that, and that's what most people don't understand when it comes to the arts or whatever it is. They want to complain about the communities. They want to complain about the world's such a bad place. Well, put
Mhm.
into it.
Right.
Don't ask for
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
Just put into it, and it will come back to you in tenfold.
Absolutely. And it's
But
not
maybe
it's
not in the
not
way you want it to. Maybe it doesn't come back in the
it
way of
blossoms in some other form, but it's
right. Maybe it
still
doesn't come back in currency in your hand, but currency is in different forms. Currency is in the relationships that you make. Currency is in the bonds that you build. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be in the form of here, because I tell you what, when you end up homeless on the side of the street, it's those people that you've made bonds and trust with that are going to get you out of that position.
Right, right. And to your point, um, about okay, so it's people a really good friend, and he's people he thinks he's giving sound advice, but it's like you need to quit interviewing people, you need to just talk. I'm like, yeah, but that's not what I want.
Yeah, you want that
Not right
connection.
now. I want to share other people's hearts because through that, I'm as well sharing my heart, my
Yeah.
mission, my passion. And it's like, while I'm multifaceted with, being the health coach, but being a mindset coach and life coach
Yeah.
and wanting to empower people to live their best lives through the self-awareness, through self-love. And that's where empowered conversations is coming in, and talking with people like yourself who are actively out there being an active participant in the creation of your life. You are
Yes.
living with intention, you are living on purpose.
Yes.
And I want that shared because it's a representation of what's possible. Because if anything is possible for anyone, anything is possible for anyone, but you have to have
Exactly.
the mindset and the heart set.
And the thing is like we've seen it in our own lives. We've seen it work in our own lives. We've seen it work in other people's lives.
Yes.
And why do we want to stay in a world that's in a lull? Why
Right.
do we want to
Settling
stay?
for in a state of mediocrity.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, and all we have to do is each of us just give your tithing 10%. Just give,
Yeah.
just give 10% out there. It doesn't take that much. And no, what you're doing may not get millions of followers. It may not, but it's going to have some,
A
they say
domino.
every platform has an audience,
Mhm.
and it's going to affect someone.
Abso-freaking-lutely. But it also could. You never know, again,
Good.
what's possible. There are people out there who have millions of followers.
Yeah,
Why not you? Why
yeah,
not me? If it's just
true.
like, I mean, but that's not the goal. The
Right.
goal is to share my heart.
Yes. 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 As long as you're centered purpose like that, I just say you always have to bring yourself back to your center, bring yourself back to
Yeah.
your center.
Your
Because
why.
when you start moving through and when you do gain all those things that come along with it, somebody's going to try to pull you here, somebody's going to try to pull you there, pull you there.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
to always pull yourself back to your center and say, hey,
Mhm.
am I in alignment with what my purpose is, and where what I want to leave my mark, and my mark on the
Right.
world? Like, am I doing that?
And I think that's probably what happens, and I don't wanna, necessarily, like, go down a political road, but I think at the heart of why most people do get into politics is because they have this real heart desire to want to implement good things for their fellow community, their fellow, citizens, and then it just becomes like the campaign in Veep. I
Then it
don't know, have you
becomes then it's just like with
I made
acting
a
or anything
joke.
else. Then it becomes the business, and
Right.
you can't
Right,
get
and then you
things
lose
done.
sight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
So
seen Veep? Have you watched
I
Veep?
haven't.
Okay, have you seen the movie The Campaign?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, see, okay, then you wouldn't get the hilariousness of those two references. Veep is a show on HBO where Julia Dreyfus plays the vice president.
Oh, I've got to.
Girl, it's on HBO or
All I'm
HBO
watching is
Max.
Disney movies right now.
It's
So
hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, hilarious, hilarious. And it's like no doubt in my mind that it's a 100%, not 99, not 99.9, but 100% accurate portrayal of what's really going on in all politics, regardless of what side you're on. And then Campaign is Zach Galifianakis and frickin' Will Ferrell. So you know that's a silly bunch of crazy shit, you know. But anyway, but that's what I'm saying. It's like when and I do that even with what I'm doing with myself. I come back, okay, so what you want, but you know why you want it, and never lose sight. Like, I just meditate and focus on always coming from that sense of what my why, what my heart
mhm, mhm.
wants, and never lose, like, regardless of how big or how much of this, or like, and you have to make a concerted effort for that not to, take, just make you lose sight. And,
Yeah,
and 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 then go down a road that you didn't intend and sell yourself out. That'd be like me. So that'd be like the Food Network reaching out to me, because that's my passion. I want to be on the Food Network hosting shows. Period. Done
yeah,
and done. But they're going to be centered around health
right.
and fun. So that would be like the Food Network reaching out to me and say, "Hey, Stephanie, we want you to do a show where you're going to make country cooking, deep fried, blah blah blah." And me going, "Well, okay,
I'll be there.
uh-uh." No, no, because that would be completely go against the whole why of why I even created Defo Rick and Licious in the first place.
Right,
You know?
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like knowing what you. I mean, at the end of the day, you're contributing something to this world, and you've got to decide what you want to contribute. And I do believe that that's why depression is so high, is
Yeah.
because as people, we are creators. We are made
Mhm.
in, God is obviously a creator. Just look around you and all the creation that is around us. And if we are in his likeness, are we not creators? Are we not creators of our own worlds?
Right.
Can we not create and make our life the way that
Right.
we want our
Whatever's going
life?
on in here. Yes.
Yeah. And and that fits, I mean, that fits everybody. It doesn't have to be about God. It doesn't have to be, it's just about,
Right.
you have a world, and
Mhm.
you need to create
Yes.
your world, and your world is taking elements that fit into your thing, always being open to other people, but at the same time protecting your space.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Protect, yeah. And I was reading something about boundaries, and that you have to be careful not to over boundarize yourself. Like, know
Yeah,
what, know who stimulates you, know who lights you up, and know who doesn't, and know who's toxic. But again, there's still something to learn, but be able to protect yourself from allowing that toxicity
yeah,
to
I don't have to
infiltrate.
be afraid of somebody else's opinion. I don't have to be
Right.
afraid.
Oh my God.
And I am
Thank you.
always open enough for my opinion to change also.
Yes, yes,
Because
absolutely, Kelly, I love that.
yeah, because
I so
we
respect
get
that.
we tend to put too much PR on ourselves. Like, I
Hmm.
am this person, I am this person, I say, you know what? This is who I am today. Next year, I might think completely different. And I have the right to do that. Don't pigeonhole me into my understanding of the world today, because hopefully tomorrow I will grow.
Absolutely, thank you. Because and when you just said, like like we become so rigid. We become so rigid in wanting to fight that which we think is so unlike ourselves.
Right.
And it's, and that's why I come, and I really, and sometimes it is hard. Sometimes it is hard not to judge, but I like to call it discernment. So
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
that's why I refuse to hate or say you're wrong
Right.
to anybody that doesn't think or act or speak, because you haven't had my life. You haven't had my experiences. How can you see from my mind and my heart through these eyes if you haven't had the same experiences? So how
Yeah.
can I say that you're wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can only wish, if I feel that the way in which I'm operating in the world is a in a a much nicer light per se,
Mhm,
I
mhm.
can only wish that you encounter experiences that will enable your mind and your heart to open. But I still, but I mean, think about it. If you've grown up in a town of 100 people, how in the hell can you think, like there's just infinite possibilities, and the world is this beautiful I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you see through your own
And there's beauty in
experiences.
that, right? There's
Yes,
beauty
yes,
in
beauty
those
in
people that
everything
grow
because
up
they're
and this
still a part of
simple,
you.
simple life of, but it's not a worldly view. It's what they have to have for their life. And not everybody is the same. Not everything works. Not every
Right.
what may work for one area. That's the reason I say, if you want change, go to your communities, because everybody's community is working a little differently and they
Yeah.
need different things. The whole, what we went through last year and the whole Black Lives Matter. I live in a very diverse town and we don't have problems. I mean, the majority of my students
Right.
are Black, and we don't have problems that I know of. And maybe that's my white privilege. I don't know. But I was floored. I was like, oh my God, like I didn't even know that we hated each other. I thought we had moved past my parents' generation.
Right.
And and then sometimes you use your voice and it doesn't, you know, it you're trying to say something, but it doesn't come back. I'm during that time, like I really wanted to use my voice. I really wanted to say, hey guys, everybody's different. Like, like why do we have to be here? And it didn't work. There's too many people that are too passionate about our history as America and who we are. And I just had to go, I don't know. I don't know the answer. And the more that, the older I get, I just realize that I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't
Right,
know
but
anything.
you're willing to open yourself, and at least because so let's just say, like, you didn't have access because like, you don't know to look for Nissan Altimas until you're driving a Nissan Altima. Then all of a sudden you see Nissan Altimas everywhere. Okay, but you've
Yeah.
been driving a Ford Explorer, so it's like you don't know what you don't know until you have access to it. And
Right.
like like you said, you just like, what the fuck? I didn't know we didn't, yeah, but again, like, one of the best books that I've read, have you White Fragility? Have you read that book?
I have not, but I have been recommended.
It is, like, you'll say, I mean, you can't not. It's not a woman's opinion. It's a woman's experience doing diversity training at corporations and companies, what she's experiencing in there trying to teach, diversity and inclusivity. And you can't help but like this, like, at least, and I don't even know, it's like in it because it's not an opinion. It's like she's stating facts,
Right.
and you can't, you're going, yep, yep, well, that's true, that happened, yep. And you just sit there, and
Yeah.
and
I
it's
just
like, I
decided
highly
that
recommend reading the
I just
fucking book.
decided during that time, if I just live my life with the simple things of love one another all my life. Look, that one simple thing, love one another. I'm not gonna steal, I'm not gonna cheat, I'm
Right.
not gonna hurt. If I do something, I'm not a perfect human being, so I might do something and not really realize, unaware of. But I mean, that's it. I love one another and I want to help move life forward. If
Yes.
you hurt, I don't want to be a part of your hurt. I want to listen to you. I want to help you. I
Yeah.
want to help myself, and I want to move into a better place. And I think that's what we learned through last year is we have to open up. We have to listen to each other. And even
Yeah.
when we find another person's opinion ridiculous, if you have a whole group of people saying,
Hmm.
"Hey, this happened to me," listen.
Right.
Listen.
Absolutely.
Stop being in your own little world, because maybe your world is working perfectly, but somebody else over here, it's not.
S Absolutely, girl, and that reminds me of a story, a couple of my soulmate best friends, one of our friends, and we tease him, I'm not gonna say his name, but like, he so he's part of us. Okay, so this, let's say this particular person that we all know has shit on and been horrible to this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, all these people, this person's been real shitty to. Well, they hadn't been shitty to me, so I'm gonna, hang out with them. And it's like, well, the dog bit that person, the dog bit that person, the dog bit that
Right.
person. It's like, well, the dog didn't bite me. And it's like we tease him. I'm like,
Yeah, when
anyway,
you're hearing so much that the dog
yeah,
bit
pay
somebody,
attention, pay
then maybe
attention.
you want to go, I don't understand it, but something happened there.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. And to your point, it's like just listen. Doesn't
Hmm.
mean you have to agree. It doesn't mean that you're going to waver or but lose yourself, but just be open to listening to people. And I hate, guys, it's hard even for me. I mean, cuz I am stubborn.
Right.
I'm stubborn. But I as stubborn as I am and very strong and how I feel about things, I really am flexible and hmm I see their perspective. I see why. I understand why they think the way they think. I understand why they're saying what they're saying because I see their life and their experiences in life, and that gives them their mindset. So
Yes,
how
and
can
there's
I
so
discount
much,
that?
there's so much too that you learn from different generations. My kids teach me my kids are in their 20s and they teach me so much all
You
the
look like, girl, you
time.
like you still like you in your 20s. You still look like you in your 20s.
Whatever. You
I'm
see those
serious.
wrinkles? You see
Oh
those?
my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't see any wrinkles. I don't
That's
see
all
them.
I look. I say, "Oh god." But yeah, I mean, there's things we can learn from the older generation. There's things that we learn from
Absolutely.
where we're at. And there's so much that the younger generation is the way that we're moving, whether you like it or not. You can complain about it. You can say, "Oh, the younger generation, they don't know anything." But it is the way that we're moving. And we're
Hmm.
moving in, technology, you like it or not, it is a part of our lives.
Right.
And I struggle with it. I wish I had the understanding that my kids have with technology. I feel like I could rule the world.
They're like
Um,
6 months old and they can navigate the iPad. I know. I mean, I've heard these stories. It's like, holy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
sometimes my 19-year-old, I mean, he's, in his own little world, but it's so interesting. Like I love listening to him. I love listening to him dissect life and why this is, and he's looking at
Yeah.
like my parents, he's looking at us, he's looking at, the world around him, and I just listen and I'm like, it, it's so brilliant. There's so much to learn.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I want to talk about what's going on for we talked about your husband's movie. That's so freaking exciting. And like the Kelly talk show, how has that evolved or how is what's going on with your talk show?
So, obviously, well, I can blame it on COVID, but it really wasn't. I mean, a portion of it would have been COVID. Um, so we did run it a little bit through COVID. I mean, carefully masked and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we're still in COVID, but
Yeah,
but
yeah, I know. That
we can get
COVID I
people
guess isn't going away. So
um, but during that time, I was the line producer on my husband's movie. We're filming in our house and a full film crew, and we had a baby. And so I moved recently, really, like four or 5 months ago. I moved into doing check-ins with Kelly because people were still writing me. And honestly, we were so busy that we were like, are we going to have time to do the show? And the way that we do it is we have like 10 guests in one day because we don't have a lot of time. We are moving so fast. And then we pre-record those. I mean, they are live as far as whatever you say gets
mhm.
gets
Yeah,
on there.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but we pre-record them so we can release them. So we were releasing like two a week. I think we have over how many shows do we have, Diego? In the hundreds. I don't know. So now, like, we're revamping and always recalculating where we're at. So yeah, now we're geared back up, and we're going to start doing them live again. I don't know when exactly. We just have been purchasing equipment to be, just advance what we were already doing, make it look a little different, but still we want to be on the multi cameras. It's just I like doing the Zooms, and I'm so grateful for technology.
Yes, yes.
I mean, even I mean, my words in motion acting studio would have shut down had it not been for a platform like this. So,
Right.
um, it allowed me to keep my studio moving. It allowed me to still connect with people. But yeah, I mean, we like that in person feeling, and it's exciting for the guests too, because sometimes it's the only time that they really get the feel of what it's like to be on live camera and to be on you know
Yeah.
so yeah, we'll start that back up after the holidays. I think we're going to South America till the 14th, which is where my husband is
Oh
from.
my
So we're
God, that's amazing.
it's so beautiful there. But
Oh.
I don't like that I can't speak the language. It drives me crazy because I'm such a
Well, they
communicator.
have all these apps now, like you take this Babbel app, I think, with you, and you
Yeah,
say, "I want a glass of water," and type that or you say it, and then it tells you how to say that in
yeah.
that
I just noticed
language.
that you're Stephanie.
Stephanie, yeah,
Stephanie.
yeah, my best friend, one of my soulmate girlfriends, Laura Rasmussen, she hates it when I say that, but there is this beautiful reason why. Anyway, Steph
Um,
funny.
yeah, so yeah, no, but I'm like you. I want to get into the nitty gritty of people. I want to know their stories. And even if
Yes.
you have basic, if I have some basic Spanish, it's not going to get me into their soul. And that's what I
Yeah,
feel, it's so hard because I'm like, and then, watching other people communicate, especially around like family events, because they're sharing stories. Like, when you're with your family, you share stories. Like my mom shares stories about me. And so I can't get those stories about Diego, or he can translate back to me, but by then you've already lost the joke, you've lost the humor, you've lost the cry, you've
yeah,
lost the
yeah.
everybody else may be crying and you're just going.
So, Dempsey's asking, I don't know if you can see the comments. He says, "Kelly, are you going to be using the same studio to shoot the new version of your show?"
Yeah, so no, we are I do have my acting studio, and it is still there, but we're using a new location. We're not going to really reveal that location because we don't want, you know, anyone showing up at it's going to
Right.
be done in our house. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we're setting it up. We've been painting walls, and obviously we'll be really selective with who we have on the show because we don't want to put ourselves in harm's way. But yeah, with the baby and everything, it's just too hard to be gone for that amount of time. And so yeah, it'll have a little bit of different look, more of a homey kind of feel. And yeah, I mean, I guess our best friends will be inviting into our house for a day of cheer.
I love it. And Dempsey, I don't, have you had Dempsey on for one of your shorts, or like what did you call it?
Lindsay, I need to have you on. He has referred people to me. I think I don't know if we've talked about it, or I don't
What
know
is
where
it
we're at
called?
on it.
What
Yeah.
did you call it?
It's called Check-ins with Kelly.
Check-ins. That's right. The check-ins with Kelly. So people have been on her show before. It's going to be like, okay, so what you're doing now?
Yeah, but Dempsey,
Yeah.
like lately, he's referred me to people who have done the check-ins. So so I have been in communication with him, but yeah, I need to have him on. You need to come back on too, Stephanie.
Hell to the done and done. Just sign me up. Sign me
So
up.
what I am trying to do, my purpose of these check-ins is to build my Instagram, which we could put on,
Yes.
because I really lack in the whole Instagram area, but I'm still just not really good at getting the things up. And then I didn't realize that you still have, I thought with the check-ins you could kind of, go longer, because with the talk show we have to stay at 10 minutes,
10
mainly
minutes.
because
Yeah.
of the storage that it used. It's because it's shot in I think we'll end up moving up to 8K. But the talk show originally was shot in 4K. So I don't know if you know much about like storage and what that does, but it
Mm-mm.
is a ton of storage. It's really hard to store all that footage. And so
Oh,
we had to
okay. I
stick
got you
to
now. Yeah, I got you.
so we had to stick to 10 minutes with the show just because we would be completely overloaded. Um, And so, but I'm finding with Instagram that you have to stay with 15 minutes because now if I go live, and I don't want to do live because I want to do a bunch in one day because I don't have the time to do live all the time. But
Right.
if I do like if I put it up on Instagram, Instagram only takes 15 minutes. So I still have to keep the segments down to 10 minutes, and then I have an intro and outro.
You mean like IGTV videos?
Yeah, I guess,
Okay.
you know, whatever.
I don't know. I just know that lives on Instagram, when I go live, it'll do the whole, like, one of these, empowered conversations went 90 minutes. And the IG live was the 90 minutes.
Yeah, now if you go live, you can totally do it.
But you know what I cannot stand about Instagram, and I don't understand why people prefer Instagram lives to Facebook,
I
is
know.
that when you can't, after your live's over, the comments are gone. So if you're not
Oh,
responding and engaging and interacting with your people who are commenting, like whereas with Facebook, you go live, anybody who comments, it's always there. You can
right.
go back and you can engage, so like I'm live on Facebook, I'm live on YouTube right now. And then, but it's like but I always miss. I'm like, I see all these people, on Instagram popping on, popping on, popping on, and then if I
Yeah,
miss
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah, I have no
yeah.
idea.
No, yeah, I don't know. I'm always trying to get better
I
at
know,
this
yeah, yeah.
technology.
I'm not as much as, I mean, I've got Instagram and I certainly post, but not near
Yeah. Well,
as much as
my
Facebook.
words in motion acting page um had, it's grown over the years, and it doesn't have a huge following, but it has a real following of actors here in the, people who are acting and acting friends.
Mhm.
And one day I was on, and it said I could link all my stuff together so I could run it through one page or whatever. Like I could link all my accounts together so I could get to them. And it locked me out of my words in motion. And I haven't been able, I mean, I have been on the phone with them. We can't get back in. I had to start a new one. So it's Words in Motion 2, Words in Motion Acting Studio 2. You'll look Kelly Young-Silva is the way it comes up too. Please follow me if you're, I know you're on Facebook right now, but follow me over there because I don't have any people.
Okay, so I'm up words in motion, and that's Instagram. Number 2?
Two, yeah. So I
Okay,
put a
number
two at the
2.
end of it,
Uh,
but it makes us look like a
what
new studio.
the hell? I don't know what just happened. There we go. Okay, like all this bitrate writing, just but words in motion 2 on Instagram. Um, See, these comments, when I comment back, they go to YouTube. So but that's more of a much broader following than YouTube, and I'm sorry, than Facebook and Instagram. Dempsey says I would be happy to come on the show.
Good, good,
Yes,
good. Okay,
yes,
okay, great,
fantastic.
wonderful.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
So
this
yeah,
is
we're just moving along and doing what we do, and we're in beginning stages, like talking about there's 3 different productions that we may get involved in. We're kind of deciding if we want to do that. I say we, me and my husband.
mhm.
um and so yeah, just always keeping the door open to new things, and um seeing
Yeah.
what's up.
And another thing that I've learned, I don't know if you've ever heard of the website called Access Consciousness.
Uh-uh.
Accessconsciousness.com is asking the question, what else is possible? What else is possible? And this Head to Soul Clubhouse group, you should come on Tuesdays at noon, chatting with these amazing girlfriends. And, but putting your hands out and literally saying, I'm ready to receive. Like, what's next?
Right.
What all is possible? And another person to follow is Tasha Silver.
Okay, okay. I'm
Tasha
Silva.
Silver.
She's Silver.
Yeah, and yeah, Silver. And speaking of Silva, you've heard of the Silva method, right?
No.
Oh my God, this man, he is amazing. Like, he's dead now,
Uh-huh.
but I started his programs in 2005, and like one of his tools is act as if. So you're basically acting as if what you want is already your reality, and what that's doing is creating the mind and the emotions that resonate with the energy that brings that as a reality.
Well, I love
into
that
your
because
life?
in acting, you use the magic if I was this person in this story, how would I react to these given circumstances, which is totally what acting is. So I
Yes.
love that. I mean, he probably got that from Stanislavski because Stanislavski, all the methods that are with the acting community, they all stem from Stanislavski, and then
Stan Oslowski. How do you S-T-A Stan Osloski?
oh god, I'm so bad with spelling.
I
Um,
love that. Stan Oslowski.
yeah, so it's like the major, it's. I'll give you the history. I'll give you an acting class. So this is like Stanislavski was the first person that said, "Hey, acting had been used in the communities to like done in fables and done in really like big ways to teach communities morals and things like that." And Stanislavski was the first person that said, "Hey, we can take this thing and make it real." And really tell real stories about people in a real way. So he started really studying acting and getting people to see a more realism in the acting, and from there developed what is called the group theater. And so a lot of your major people, Meisner, um, Lee Streisberg, Stella
Mm-hmm.
Adler, they all came from this group who ended up being, just dynamic teachers in the world of acting. And it all stemmed from this one person and his values. So Stanislavski is the foundation of the acting that you see all around you this day and age.
Love it.
And
Oh, I love it.
everything from there is just a stem. It's like a religion. Like he came up with the religion, and then there's stems off of that where somebody said, "Okay, I believe this, but let's try to add this," or I don't believe this part of it, or so then that's where you get the different acting teachers and the different methods of acting through the years.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. And I had no idea. And I think I shared this with you before, but I've always had a passion for acting ever since I was a very small child.
I
That
could
I
see
took acting classes and then it didn't necessarily go. I'm not a famous movie star, accepting Academy Awards, but I envisioned that when I was a kid. That's what I wanted. And hey, you never freaking know.
you never
I ain't
freaking
dead yet.
know.
There's always a possibility that anything that you want or anything can happen until you're 1 foot on a banana peel,
Yep.
one in the grave, or
Yep.
cremated. Because I'm gonna be cremated and
Well,
spread
Atlanta is a
all over
great
the
place
ocean.
to,
Yeah.
Atlanta is, I mean, it's one of the major filming hubs now. So it's given, my studio exists because the industry, uh, well, from the mayor who said, "Hey, we're going to give incentives to Hollywood to be able to film here, and this is your last 10 years," and we've all been able to grow with that. We've seen we've seen filming all around us in our communities, and I think I just came in at a point. I never started my studio because the film industry was here. I started it because I wanted to give to kids and I wanted to
Thank you.
build the arts in my community. And as
Thank
it
you.
started to grow here, people were like, "Hey, what is that girl doing?" And hey, she's working with kids. And then they started, asking for my kids, and then we grew
Hmm.
with agents and things like that. And then later, now we teach adults also. But um yeah, I mean the the industry is very very strong here. I don't see
Hmm.
at this point that it's going away. um and 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 if you want to be an actor, you can be an actor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes your dream lands in your backyard.
It really does, and it happens and transpires when you're not even really necessarily focused, but the focus um, that you implemented, before and just for such a long time, because I see that in my own life.
Right.
Just for instance, like, the empowered conversations. I didn't know how this was gonna, but I fell into this being a part
Hmm.
of a group of people doing lives, and it's just like, whoa. And it's just, and it's just taken off. So you don't necessarily know how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, but just focus and
Yeah, and
keep moving in the direction of what you
it's when your
want.
skill set and what you're doing, it's just gotta come into alignment with where it needs to be.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, and for me, I had been acting for since I was in the 3rd grade, and, so obviously I had the skills to be able to do what I
Mhm.
do, and then, it just aligns up and you're like, yeah, that's where I want to be. And when I first opened my
Absolutely.
studio, we were more like it was more like for kids to build skills through the arts. But then at a point, we completely gave over to, just going industry bound, mainly because I'm a competitor. Like I want to know what I can do. I want to know what my abilities are. And I want people to understand that they have the ability to do. If they want to do it, then
Thank you.
I'm just like, okay, let's do
Thank you.
it. And what I find
Absolutely.
is that I don't get to choose my students. My students choose me. But what
Mhm.
I do is I try to stay open to them. But what I find is out of the majority of people that sign up for classes, for one, they don't stay in long enough. They don't really build the skills that they need to build. If you're a child, your
Mhm.
parent has to be extremely involved in that. You can't get anywhere as a child on your own. So you still find that only about 1% actually do the work that is required for that job. The others still gain. They still gain
Mhm.
things. They
Mhm.
gain things that they'll use in their life. They may become, speakers. They may be able to do seminars. They may
Oh,
be,
absolutely.
so they're always still gaining, but only 1% will really move into that working to become a working actor
Mhm.
when everybody has the ability to.
Ah, absolutely. And again, it's aligning the mindset and the heart set and why, why. If you really, if you're operating from that deep sense of why, then you are going to be part of that 1%. But Kelly, that's with anything. That's
Yeah,
with like health and wellness. That's with, your self-care. That's with how we carry out and live our daily lives. We can either make excuses,
right.
for not for living in a state of mediocrity, or we can freaking be a part of that 1% or 10%
Yeah.
or whatever that is, and really creating an extraordinary life
Yeah, because it's
that's
work.
on
It's work. I
purpose.
had
It is work. It
Yeah,
is
yes.
work.
One of my one thing that I hate that people say, people used to tell me all the time, "Well, you're so lucky because you get to live your passion." And I'm like, that offends me. I don't know why.
Right.
It just offends me because I'm like, my passion is a whole lot of work.
It's a
So
drive.
don't
Yes.
don't make me
Thank
sound like
you.
I don't work for what I have. I work for it. And the other thing I had, and this has happened multiple times, but one particular student pops in my mind, and he called me one day, and he was like, Kelly, this is an adult student, and he said, I just really don't want to do this anymore. He said it's begun to feel like work, and I said, well, if you want to be a working actor,
Yeah.
if it's feeling like work, you're probably getting a little closer to where you think you want to go because
Okay.
it
I like
is
that.
it is work.
Hmm.
And that's the problem that most people have when comes to becoming a basketball star or a famous
Hmm.
speaker or whatever it is that they want that dream, but they don't want the suffering and the discipline that goes along with being able to achieve that dream.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
live, breathe, and sleep, this art.
Yeah.
And I still haven't become a famous movie star, right?
But you're lit up
Oh,
and your life is fulfilling, and not it's not about being happy all the time, but it's about living a life where you experience joy, and you
right.
can clearly see and feel that from the way that you share what you share. You're lit up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the thing is, like my dreams kind of shifted when I opened my studio because then they
Hmm.
became about the dreams of other people's, and so I have been able to really achieve that. So
Well, that's awesome.
I'll tell you some things that my students have been in, and then if you
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
move on to your regular life, it's good. So if you'll see behind me, this is just this year. This is Jameer Petit. You'll find him in the Wonder Years. So he booked a character called Michael Sims, who is the bully of the show, and he's not a bully in real life at all. All this is a wig, because it's done in the I think in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so he got hired on as a day player, which means that it's just a day of work. And they liked him so much that they wrote him into the story, because it's a series. So if you're an actor out there, just know that that happens. You can show up thinking you're getting this little bitty part, and that little bitty part, you're like, that's not really worth it. But if you're on a series, if they like you and they like what that brings to the story, they can write you into that story.
Yeah.
So last episode was completely focused on him. He's recurring, and they filmed that in Alabama. This is beside there is Braylon Rankins, and he has an amazing story. He's 13 now. I've been coaching him for about 5 or 6 years, and he the minute that his parents came into the studio, I was like, this kid can book. We got him signed with an agent within three months, and he was booking within 3 months after that. So this kid has been in, this is Doom Patrol behind us. He plays a character named Vic Cyberg, and he's been recurring on there. And then he was part of the main cast of a show called Delilah, which is an Oprah Winfrey show. And the series didn't end up making it, but he was a part of the main cast. That's a huge, huge deal. He and his sister, Brielle Rankins, who is the next poster right there, are on HBO Max right now in a Christmas special called 8-Bit Christmas. So you guys go watch that. It's a cute little movie. If you have a family, it's a great family movie. They play Teddy and Teddy and Tammy. So they're twins in the movie, but the brother and sister on real life.
Yeah.
So we got to go a couple of weeks ago out to their house and watch it all together. I mean, how cool is it to have both of your children on the same show? So she just booked in another thing coming out. And then over here, you'll see that's Coming to America too. That's a Kylie Love.
Yeah, so we've seen that.
Okay.
I love Coming to America 1. That was amazing.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Still, I mean, this is still like a Mac Daddy cast,
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
So
who, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Who is she?
No, so she played Eddie. She played Princess Tanisha, I think is what it.
Or
I don't know.
Tanakuta, or yeah.
Anyway, it's the youngest of Eddie Murphy's daughters in the movie, and so she did a lot of improv classes with me, and it's really interesting. We got to be on set with her. So interestingly, it's comedy, so they were improving a lot, and she said that it was amazing that Eddie Murphy would sometimes be like, he would ask her opinion and say, what do you think about this? And she would say, what if we do this? And they would literally like write the scene that way or do it in that way, because it was it ended up, they thought it was funny. So we have another kid that trained with me. His name is Jeremy Thomas. He's in a movie called Antlers that's out in the theaters. I think maybe it's on DVDs now or whatever it goes on now. But it's called Antlers. He is the main character. He's a little boy that is I guess tortured in the movie. And so yeah, I mean, and that's just this year of things that have been released. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm like, I'm living, I'm living in what I set out to do. And I'm like, if I die tomorrow, I feel accomplished.
Thank you.
And I feel like my life has been worthwhile.
Thank you. Yep. Oh, oh my God, Kelly, that gives me cold chills.
Yeah. Because there was a point that I did not, I mean, there was a point when I first started this journey, I'm seeing the tunnel, and I'm like, dude, I'm not even at the beginning of the tunnel. I felt called to do this. I know it is my calling, but I was like, how am I going to do this? How is it going to manifest itself? And what am I going, how am I going to do this? And, it took about 3 years to even end up in the beginning of that tunnel where I was like, hey, I see a little light there. And then, I would always say, what percentage am I down the tunnel? And, there was a point that I felt like I was 70%,
I love that.
in the
I
tunnel.
love that.
And now I feel like I'm through the time. I'm at the other side,
Oh, yeah.
I'm living in where I wanted to live, but that took 10
Thank you.
years.
Thank you. Thank you. That it's like I was literally just thinking about that today of the paradigm shift that's happened in my life.
Right.
And when I look back at some things, from years ago or things that I endured, it's like I think I'm on the a completely other side of that, but all of that was for a reason
Yeah.
to help bring
Which is
about
why
what
you want to give back, which is why you want to say, "Hey, one day I was
absolutely.
in that lull. One day that was me. So let me tell
Yeah.
you that you can be in a better place."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. You've been so fabulous. I really appreciate you coming on. And I heard Oliver, I heard him a few minutes ago, I think.
You want me to show
I
him
heard
to you?
his
Here we
Yes,
go.
please.
Bring
Sweet
me
little
all over.
Oliver. Sweet little Oliver. No, oh yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No,
I
good.
just
Tell
I
me.
just thought of something. Yeah.
Tell me.
Um, and actually I misspoke when I said my girlfriend's cat was named Oliver. His name was Otis.
Oh, Otis.
But
That's
still
cute.
Otis and a cat. He was so cute.
So he's got crazy
Otis.
hair.
Hey, Oliver!
Say
Hey, sweet boy.
hey.
Oh my God. How are you today?
Say
What have you been
hey.
doing?
Say hey, Stephanie. Stephanie.
Sweet Oliver. Isn't he adorable, guys? Oh my God. He is so
Yeah.
cute.
He's so fun.
It's
He's a
nice to
little
meet you.
say
I see
hey.
pictures of you all the time.
He's pretty happy, smiley. He's a little actor. He's had his first little acting job, and um, so we'll see what's in store for Oliver.
What's
But he's
what's
really
Santa bringing
friendly.
you?
Yeah, he's friendly. He likes people. He smiles pretty much all the time, except for if he's hungry or if I feel like he's a puppy and I'm handing him back. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
or if he
Or
wants
right now
me.
he's like, wait a minute, I was
Yeah,
on Empowered Conversations. You're my next guest, Oliver. I want to know what you're doing for the world.
there you go. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's fun. I think, parenting is like you got this little light, and your job is to try to develop that person and give them, the tools to and
yes.
but through life, you don't always get um you're as a parent, you wish more than anything is to give them the tools to be able to succeed in life.
Yes.
But also that is being in the
Yes.
place where you have those tools, because that's what happens in
Thank
parenting.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, because if we don't have the tools, we can't give it. And so I'm at such a better place in my life than when my first set of kids. They've really had to struggle through a lot of my mistakes, where Oliver hopefully will get to be the benefits of my work.
Yeah. Oh my
So
God. But and such in such a beautiful way in which you describe that because no one is perfect, but you have self-worth, you know your worth, you know your value, and you have been dedicated and that is beautiful and that's a blessing and that's a gift. And and but your kids are gonna receive of that gift as well,
oh
seeing
yeah, they
seeing
just
what's
had to go
possible in
through
a
a different.
transformation.
Yes, my older kids have been through the journey with me, whereas now I'm way further alone in my journey. So he receives that back where
Yeah.
they've had to walk it with me. And there's lessons and all there's more lessons in actually walking it with somebody than there is probably receiving the benefits of. But
Absolutely, of course. And to your earlier point about how, when your children come that you have to stop or it changes your life, only if you allow it. You're a walking, talking billboard of someone who still is living her passion for serving others while also raising your family and being a
right.
good role model of strength and purpose for your son, for
Yeah.
Oliver.
Yeah. No, I tell people all the time, and I think that's what makes me such a good coach. Is at the time that I opened my studio, I was a single mother of 3 kids living in a basement for nearly 4 years without even a kitchen to cook in. And I mean, so tight on money sometimes that my oldest child was going to a high school out of district, and I literally didn't have the gas money to get him back and forth, and I would work in the car outside of the school for 8 hours, just to be able to get him back and forth to that school. And I can remember one day him coming out to the car and getting in the car and going, "God, you stink." So that's what I'm saying is, it's a different life. I don't have to with Oliver. Hopefully I'm never going to be sitting outside of his car for 8 hours because I don't have the gas money to get him back and forth.
Right.
But so I tell people, when they say I can't afford it, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm like, look, I know where you're at. I know what you're going through. But if you want to have a better life, you can have a better life.
Yeah.
You are just going to have to buckle down. You're going to have to sit outside of your kid's school for 8 hours. You're going to have to make the sacrifices that need to be made in order to be there. And it hurts. It's just like, eating healthy, right?
Yep.
When we want to eat that chocolate and we see Susie over here that gets to eat the chocolate and we're not eating the chocolate, it hurts a little bit.
Right.
But
Right.
if we want the transformation, then we have to go through the sacrifice in order to get there.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that vulnerable part of your
I mean,
life.
that's I mean, lots of lessons learned during that time. So what I said, my older kids, they have a different life and a different experience, and than what Oliver will have, but
Yeah.
it's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, go about your life. I love you. Thank you for
I
letting me
love
be
you
on.
guys. Thank you for being on Empowered Conversations today. And just an announcement, I'm doing two. I go 2 weeks without it, and now I'm doing two this week. I've got John Corbellini coming on tomorrow evening. We're redoing his episode because he had StreamYard difficulties. He didn't have his Ethernet cord, and so we're redoing his episode tomorrow night. I'll be posting that announcement this afternoon. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dempsey. So proud of you. Thank you,
Yippee! I'll be
Kelly. Thank you.
contacting you soon.
Yes. Thank you, Kelly. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Nice meeting everyone.
Yes.